Hi, I'm Abhimanyu, Head of Content at Brand Intel, and this demo is about the 10 elements of a flawless invoice reconciliation process for marketing activities. As a finance professional approving campaign bills, if you find the verification steps difficult or tedious, we understand. Detailed tracking can feel particularly painful with multiple campaign activities and high invoice volumes all happening simultaneously. Fortunately, there's a proven way to do this with ease. Let's jump straight to the live software walkthrough of how top performing teams do their invoice reconciliation, and watch till the end because I'm going to list all the time and money savings that these 10 elements can help you accumulate. Element number one of flawless invoice reconciliation is your agency or partner's ability to log into your system and upload their invoices directly. They should be able to do it with a workflow similar to this that makes it easy. For example, they can choose their medium like TV, radio, print, etc., and select a purchase order to tag that particular bill to. You can see all the details here, and then follow a systematic workflow of selecting the campaign, which we did, uploading the bill. You can save and continue and follow this workflow. Uploading the bill, correlating data. If there's any mismatch in the fields or the format of the invoice being uploaded, supporting documents, tax and commission details. This is important. Adding e-invoice PDF. Basically, the system should be able to read a PDF for digital signature or tax or GST details. Then you can review and save. The agency should be able to look at the status of that particular bill and look at the summary of any possible violations in this process. Element number two of flawless invoicing is that you need to be able to see all of your bills in a single view along with all their current statuses. There are 224 open bills, out of which 19 have exceptions in them. 281 are in process, sent for approval, and these are approved, paid, and on hold for whatever reason. Element number three is integration with SAP or the equivalent ERP that you're using in your organization. The data can seamlessly flow with the integration, and your POs can be generated in your ERP or SAP, and you don't have to punch in any data additionally manually. But if there's no integration, then this process will have to be done manually. Element number four is customized exception management. If we look at the exceptions tab, let's say we have this particular vendor, Aarti Advertising. Click on view. If we go under exceptions, you can see that there's an option to add an exception for a specific bill amount for certain type of violation. So it could be a duration mismatch, time band mismatch, depending on the medium. And you can save these details here. What's the difference between the planned activities versus what actually got executed in your marketing? So by that, we mean pre versus post. So there are three types of deviations: KPIs, time rate, and missing in new. And each deviation type has its own set of deviations, like days of week, ad spend, and so on. For example, here we can see there's one deviation in time band mismatch. So you should have a view. For example, in the planned section of marketing activities, this was the time band allocated. However, what happened in reality was this time band. This was what was delivered. So the system should be able to flag those time bands or those deviations which have not happened as per plan visually in an easily accessible manner. Element number five is easy communication with agencies. So if you look at this remarks icon here, when you click on it, the exceptions that you have found along with the details and the bill to which it's referring to will be sent as an email, and the agency has the chance to make that correct. For example, they can upload a revised attachment or they can add details that may have been missing. And only when you're satisfied as the person managing this activity, you can decide to resolve it. And if you don't resolve it, then this bill or this payment will be unresolved till the time the money is released. So you have that level of control. Number six of a flawless invoice reconciliation is the ability to log credit notes against the specific bill. If a particular agency has accepted that there have been certain deviations in delivery, then they may decide to give you a credit note, and this is where you can log it. And the operating word here is that it is tagged against the specific bill. Element number 7, log advance payment adjustments to a particular PO. And as you can see, it's possible to do that in this specific tab. 8 is to track consumption details throughout the life cycle of a particular campaign. So as you can see in this tab, you can see details across, for example, this campaign ran through April, May, June, July, August, and you can see estimate, PO, and final schedule details across the timeline. You also have this option to download the Excel version. Number 9 of a flawless invoice reconciliation process is that you should be able to add your documents, attachments, proofs, checks, PDFs, spreadsheets, all in a single place. And they should be tagged to the relevant bill. And you can see it across the life cycle through the estimate, PO, schedule, and bill phase. Now, there can be many files over here. Here's an example. This is one file. It's a spreadsheet, XLS file, easily accessible, easily downloadable. And with this kind of a system, you don't need to look at 100 platforms and so many people to coordinate with and so many Excel sheets. It's just everything in one place and everything is centrally accessible. The 10th element is where it all ties together. I showed you the invoicing process for a media specific workflow for media campaigns like traditional media or digital campaigns. But there can be other types of mediums like regional marketing, BTL bills. So depending on the type of activity, each medium has its own unique fields and nuances to tackle. So the invoicing should be different for each medium. All of them should be together so that you can manage them in one system. Once the business team has approved the bill, it moves to finance for final acceptance. At this point, all required fields are automatically mapped to SAP formats, ensuring there's no manual intervention or data mismatch. After finance gives the final go ahead, the invoice is seamlessly posted to SAP, completing the payment cycle for our agency partners. The entire goal of good invoicing is to give the person approving and paying the bills maximum flexibility where they have the option to accept and reject the deliverables. And they should have the clarification ability to drill deep and stop payments if they see any mismatch in the deliverables. Here's a quick recap of the 10 elements. 1, vendor access and ability to upload bills. 2, all the bills should be easily accessible from one place, neatly organized and with their current statuses. 3, seamless integration with SAP or its equivalent ERP. 4, customizable exception management. 5, easily communicate with agencies to revise attachments or resolve any queries. 6, log credit notes against the bill. 7, view advance payment adjustments against specific POs. 8, easily access consumption details to track consumption across month-long or year-long campaigns. 9, access connected attachments centrally. And 10, have medium-specific workflows for the invoices for each medium. For example, media, BTL, or regional marketing. So when you have these 10 elements running your invoice reconciliation, you can expect these savings that you see on your screen. Manual data entry from emails to ERP, 2 to 4 hours per week saved. The manual matching between your estimates and your bills and your sub-vendor bills, and even maybe third-party data like bulk data, 5 to 10% error rate. Manually reviewing deviations, 2 to 5 days to even detect, let alone correct. Scattered access, so to just access a simple spreadsheet that's in a system separate from the one you're using, it can take 5 or 10 minutes to just open the document. Manual MIS and report generation, 1 to 3 hours per week, and manually tracking decision logs to create a clean audit trail, 1 to 2 hours per week. Now, these are the conservative figures that we have found based on our conversations with stakeholders and our research, but the actual figures are much higher. And the effect is compounding when you spread it across the span of an entire marketing team or across the weeks and months and the years. A good system gives you leverage. Positive effects compound over time. Brand Intel is built to streamline your marketing processes and give you more results for every rupee you invest. So if you like this video and you found it useful, you might want to watch our other videos on budgeting, vendor commercials, invoice reconciliation, and even ROI and analytics. So click the link with this video to access our entire library of videos.